A big afternoon, Patrick Osho. Good to see you. Welcome, everybody. Hello, both. Just going to give folks 30 seconds or so to sign on in. Then we'll have a quick look around. Folks, right, let's get stuck into the session. So, we've got this difficult environment now where markets are expecting the Federal Reserve to be data dependent, but we don't have the data because we're still in that US government shutdown. So, we're in a very unusual kind of market environment. On top of that, we've got sentiment is definitely negative today. If you look at global stocks, you can see here they're selling off across the board. S&P 500 futures down over 1%, Dow down over 0.5%, Nasdaq down nearly 1.5%, and markets are sort of digesting the latest earnings from Palantir. Remember, Assam was long this stock and was thinking, do I hold, do I not hold? Well, it's fallen around 7% in pre-market trade on concerns about its sales estimates. And traders are just really concerned at its lofty valuation. We've also had Tesla and Nvidia losing ground as well. And, you know, there's been a couple of big chief execs, Morgan Stanley, Goldman Sachs, warning that markets could see a 10% plus pullback over the next year, just calling recent valuations stretched. Now, valuations can go on being stretched for some time, but you know, there reaches a point where we see a correction, and we're just seeing a little correction at the moment across global stocks, and you can see global stocks here just pulling back across the board. On top of that, we've got US yields are pushing higher. They're staying around that 4.09%. That's supporting dollar strength. You can see the Dixie off the high levels for today, but that dollar strength weighing across all the majors. Aussie, Euro, Pound, New Zealand are all lower. And that risk-off trading has also impacted the Antipodeans. They're both lower. The yen is a standout winner today. Risk-off flows and some jewel boning from the Bank of Japan just helping support yen strengths. Now, Fed officials are giving mixed signals about the interest rate path for the Federal Reserve. You can see there's a 65% chance of a December rate cut. That's down from a near certainty. So markets are not expecting that it's definitely going to be a rate cut in December, and that's weighing on equity markets at the moment. Just those interest rate cuts aren't necessarily coming in December. And the problem is that the Fed's data dependent, we just don't have the data. So the data we have got coming up is we've got no jolts today, but tomorrow we've got ADP, the private jobs number, and ISM services. So both are going to be pretty significant. So just to be aware of that, big data should be coming tomorrow. So we may see sort of range price action at the moment, but as it stands, the sentiment is definitely negative. Now, a couple of things to note. We've got an implied volatility level at 6,800, which is where price is now. So we're hitting the first standard deviation from implied volatility levels. And if you just look on the hourly chart, you can see we've had strong selling off. As soon as these big chunk of buyers were trapped up here, you can see prices just moved all the way down. And then notice where we had buyers coming in. You see these buyers came in here at the 6782. Well, they came in the 6782, and that's with those big chunk of sellers were trapped here. You know, nearly 10, 12,000 contracts short at the 6784, 6782 region, and another sort of 10,000 trapped here. So we're in a natural support area that we've hit on the hourly chart, but look, the trend's clearly lower. The delta is lower. Markets have been selling off. We have had some dip buying, and we'll be just going to be carefully looking here. Do you see any sellers trapping any of these buyers here? And if you look there, you can just see that sellers have trapped these buyers here. So sellers are trapped at the moment on the hourly chart. Now, if you look on the 15-minute chart, we've got a very interesting group of buyers who are here underneath that 600. So if we see sellers trapping those buyers there, then it wouldn't be unreasonable to expect another little run down. So that's what I'm looking at the start of the session. Otherwise, we're looking for some sellers to get trapped out in this level. Maybe we can start pushing higher, but the area I'd look to sell from is the 6850, which is where we got those buyers here and these buyers there. So that's 6850, that standard deviation to the upside. looks pretty attractive for selling. Now, yesterday I got caught out. I got sucked into a long trade, which I just was a little bit too. Accidentally doubled my leverage on the trade because my positions weren't going across my account, so they were just staying on one account. So that doubled my leverage, and that impacted my ability to turn around. You can see we did get that turnaround yesterday. We hit the VWAP and moved up higher. I was able to sort of go back towards that direction on my CFD account. Tough day for me, so I'm going to make sure that I don't want to repeat the same mistake twice. So looking how markets open, and then really the 15-minute chart is if I see sellers getting trapping buyers there, then I wouldn't be surprised to get another run down here. I'll be looking at that. So that's what I'm looking at the start of the session. I'm just going to take it easy and look for something clear as we develop. But for now, the things that are standing out is a 6850 for selling, or if we start pushing above these sellers here, we can start to move up. But at 6850 is really where I want to sell from. That's what I'm interested in, or getting underneath the 6800, and the standard deviation is at the 6800. So underneath that level, I'm happy to look for selling. Hey Najam, good to see you, buddy. Are you doing okay? So that's what I'm looking at now. In terms of sort of hot zones, I've got this hot zone at 47.30. Again, I'm happy just to buy that with like a 5-point stop. Typically, when you ever retrace, you see how that's such a nice hammer reversal bar here. Uptrend, hammer reversal bar, price moves up into recent resistance, and often when you get a retracement back down to these levels, you find a bounce off that level. So I'm happy to have just a 5-point stop on that and try up to 3 times to get in. You can see how that worked very nicely on the second. You see the following day, once price broke higher, just able to go for retest that level and off can be fantastic. So I'm going to try 3 attempts there on silver, and that's really what I'm looking at. Asan Palantir got it down at 190, but just notice that it's holding. Osho, it's holding above that overhead resistance. So it's not a bad place to try to lock in profit just underneath that resistance level. So underneath that weekly low remains a reasonable area, because if we go underneath that weekly low, then that's a bearish engulfing bar from a resistance level essentially. So I think that's the place to lock in what you've got. Do you see? Because if we're breaking above, so reasonably, breakout, pullback, right? That's not unreasonable. And if we do get an eclipse of this level, then it's a bearish engulfing bar from a false break of a overhead resistance area. So that would be a strong reversal signal if we get it, and that would involve going back down through the lows. Now, do you see the way this is gapped up higher? You see the gap on the open? So that means if this closes underneath that 50% level here on the weekly basis, then that's dark cloud cover. Asan, great. Yeah, good man. That's good. I just thought I'd do a bit of a technical rundown. But you see, like, so if that's underneath the 50% of that on the weekly chart, then you want to consider locking, because it's dark cloud cover, which is quite a decent reversal signal. That would be a close underneath the 50%. Otherwise, if it holds, then, you know. Okay, good man. I was thinking about you, Asan, with that, seeing that pre-market data. Just lofty valuations. The earnings were good. It's just markets are getting tired of that AI story, right? Okay. Just going through the areas I'm looking at. Strong buying from that 86, 84 region made sense. We had lots of trapped sellers down here. The two, obviously, if we get all the way up to here, the 6873, great opportunity for selling up at these levels here. Yeah, good, Asan. Yeah, good man. And just looking at the TPO, you see if we go back up to yesterday's value area low, pivot point, nice area for shorting. Also, we got a single print here around this region. So that does mean that this 6850 is quite a nice area for potentially shorting here. You see, we can get up to there. What's everyone else looking at? How's everyone else reading it? What are you thinking? Oh, the final thing is gap fill. So you've got the gap fill on the daily. Gap support, 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 resistance. So this now becomes a super great area for selling. So anywhere up there looking for selling, really anywhere into this looking for selling. Let's have a look at NQ. Oh yes, very nice. Yep, nice NQ gap there. Right, that's a nice super hot area here. So in the gap, that tends to be super hot for buyers here.
We've seen some comments here from China Foreign Minister to Estonia counterpart. Does note China is willing to negotiate the signing of a free trade agreement with the EU.
So it looks, retracement looks reasonable here, and then followed by sellers coming in. And just remember, that's a standard deviation here at the 6,800 from applied volatility levels. So just be aware of that, the 6,800. Well, that's the level there. 5 minutes. You had buyers, they trap these sellers. You had buyers trap those sellers here. So it wouldn't be unreasonable to buy into that. In fact, I'm going to buy into that on one position now at the open. Right, so let's see how we do. Just with these buyers having trapped sellers just here. So I'll be expecting buyers to come in here. If they don't, we're getting under that level, but just see how it goes and see if we get a potential break out of this overhead level. Okay, notice that point of control. The point of control is now dropped down here. A lot of sellers coming in. Just clearing out of that. Now this does look like it wants to go short, doesn't it? Get underneath those buyers there. I'm going to enter a speculative short now and another one just because the delta's so strong. Feels like this wants to go lower. So let's just see if we get these sellers trapping those buyers under that 6801 as well. 39 seconds. So gone short now because you've got sellers coming in, quite a lot of delta. We're into this value area, so let's see if we get a hold. Do we close underneath the 6801? 17 seconds. Adding another short in here. That's got these sellers trapping these buyers. That's a potential breakout now, this sort of wedge pattern. Sellers trying to force it now. Get underneath these levels. Let's have a look. This potential breakout here, that's what it's trying to do. An attempt at defense of that area. Back up to the point of control. Buyers taking it back sharply. Sellers still in control here. Got a bit of a rejection to 6801.
Just an update on EU-China relations. The European Commission says EU and China are committed to engage on rare earth licensing facilitation measures, including discussing general licenses.
Back down to testing the standard deviation. Critical point here. The buyers trying to defend it. 5-minute close coming up. The sellers trying to force the issue, trying to take it lower here. Okay. Yeah, it is. It's just not going. Let's see what we get on the 15-minute close. Trying to pull back higher now, isn't it? So hitting the VWAP. Some sellers trying to come in off it. We'll see how these sellers react here. See if the buyers actually trap them. 15-minute. Okay, let's see. That's that area there, isn't it? So that's right. So let's see if I get a retracement. I'm going to exit out of that area. Try and get out at a slightly better price if I get one. Right, exit out of that. And now go long. And just see if you can get a little pop out of here. Just see if you can get a little pop higher on this. Because we're trying to break out of this level here.
Just a quick market update after the US cash open. In terms of US indices, we have opened in the red. S&P 500 down around 0.9%. And then in terms of NASDAQ 100, down around 1.3%. Russell 2000 down 1.1%. In terms of sectors, we do see tech lagging as some of the concerns over the AI rally have seen an uptick following Palantir's earnings report last night, with participants citing an unattractive valuation as well as a narrowing list of catalysts that could potentially take the AI rally another leg higher into year end. In terms of sector outperformance, we are seeing that in staples and real estate, although keep in mind they are very marginal gains. In terms of the FX space, the dollar is gaining in the risk of trade. Participants continuing to digest a more hawkish Fed previously thought ahead of the December meeting. Meanwhile, yen, more attractive haven on an intraday basis and is outperforming the dollar. In terms of Antipodeans, they are underperforming in the risk-averse trade. And overnight, the RBA did opt to keep rates unchanged as expected. In terms of treasuries, curve is bull steepening And just a quick look at gold, we're just hitting new session lows. We have fallen back below the 4,000 per ounce handle as it fails to benefit from the risk of trade as seemingly profit taking from the year-to-date rally continues. And then over in crude prices, weighed by the broader risk-averse mood, WTI Brent currently down by around 62.70 cents per barrel on the day.
Buyers then testing those sellers. So this is a potential area we can see recovery from. So I'm sticking with a long here. So target area is that 830 region, trying to push here above the VWAP. Definitely trying to break out here. I think this is not bad for a little run up. Just maybe 10, 12 points, but this looks reasonable. Got the S2, yeah, just capping price, tricky. Another little pullback. Got those chunk of sellers trapped though, that's the nice thing. That's little break is trying to move up, and that should be pushing over that pivot now as well. Got that big moving average just coming up about 5 points away. So a run up to that region is not unreasonable. And that's not a bad area, the 6,850 for a sell. Let's see how far it can go. So that's right, quite a lot of sellers getting trapped there. On the right side of things now, those sellers getting trapped down there. These sellers getting trapped. Hey, let's
just making you aware, US President Trump currently speaking on energy and affordability on Truth Social says energy costs are an example and are plummeting, getting close to $2 a gallon gasoline. Says when energy goes down, everything else follows.
Just going to hold these longs. We are breaking out of this area. Now let's see how we react up here. It's got 15 minute, heading up into a value area. 5 minute close, trapping those sellers. On balance volume moving up. Look like we might have a run up into that standard deviation. Then I'll just see how we react around that standard deviation. That'll be the key thing for me. I'm quite happy to sell from the 6,850. Let's have a look. Nice nudge. I'm just keeping an eye on it myself. Here we go. Trying to test that standard deviation. I feel we can break out of this. Hang on, it is a value area, so it's got to be sensible. Giving it half a chance to break out. All right, I've closed out a lot of the position now. I'm out of that completely now. Nice one there, Jim. Nice run just up to that area there. Logical profit taking zone. So I agree, and it's quite a volatile day. So that 200 moving average is hit as well. And then I think I'm ultimately looking for sellers from that region there, which is a retest of that fill gap. So, and the value area high we got there, haven't we?